Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. And I got something to show you guys. I have my own, very own Addie's Books and Movies Chat merchandise. And I would like to give a big shout out to my sister-in-law, Kayla, for designing this shirt for me, and I will put her company down below in the comments so you too can have an Addie's Books and Movies Chat shirt. So thank you, Kayla, for designing this awesome shirt for me. I have my own Addie's Books and Movies Chat merchandise now. I am just so happy. Okay, let's dive into this movie. So the movie okay. First and foremost, we will be discussing the iconic movie Epic. Now, Epic starts off with Wood and a voiceover saying, "Do you know if you look hard enough, you can see tiny people flying away in the woods?" And then we get, and then we get the sign of the leaf people that live way, 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 way in the forest. And we meet Ronan, the leader. Who had the crush on Queen Tara. And it is so obvious that they are so in love with each other. But Ronan, the leader of the Leafmen, come to talk to Queen Tara about picking a pod because, let me explain, when she picks a pod, she picks a new queen. So today is the pod picking ceremony where she's gonna pick a pod, watch it grow, and then select a new heir to take over the kingdom of the Leaf People as she steps down. But crisis, there is but there is a bad guy called Mardrick who doesn't like Queen Tara, who doesn't like Queen Tara, and he wants to take over the forest. And the Leaf people have been very and the Leaf Men soldiers have been very, very, very good at protecting the queen so far. So Ronan says, "Queen Tara, this is getting too dangerous. Marquitas is like getting too dangerous. I say that the Leafmen, the Leaf soldiers, go pick a pod, bring it back to you. We're in, we're at." But Tara doesn't want to do that because she says it doesn't work that way. I just cannot just choose any pod. It has to be a special pod where I know that it is gonna bloom and be a next good year. I have to be there to pick it myself. And so with this, Ronan says, "All right, all right, all right, Queen Terror, Queen Terror, you are right. And we also need Ronan's nephew. Well, not his nephew, but the the son of his best friend that passed. We meet Nod, and he is training to be a Leafman. But Ronan in his relationship is kind of strained, and Nod decides that he doesn't want to be a Leafman anymore. And then he goes off into a toad race. So, anyway, since Nod is off on his toad race, and Nod is one of the leaf people, and we got the parade going on, and Queen Terror is waving to all the nice people, and then we meet the Flower Child, this energetic kid who is a big fan of Queen Terror's. Now keep her in mind because she is going to be important. Keep the Flower Child in mind. And I am not kidding. When I looked it up, her name is Flower Child. So anyway, she's waving to all the people and they're having such a good time. And Queen Terror has chosen a pod, but oh no, Marquitus Marquitus is on the grab for the pod so he can bloom it in darkness. Because if you bloom the flower pod in darkness, it will rise with the next dark prince. And the next dark prince that Marquitus wants, he wanted to be his son. That is the leader of the Boggans. His son is the leader of the Boggans, but he is the boss because he is the father. So, his son is the leader of the Boggans, but the son is only second in command, so keep that in mind. So, anyway, while that is going on, and the Boggans are on their way to attack the Leafmen, we're not there yet because we stop to meet our main character, Mary Catherine, who goes moving with her dad, and he is the professor, and he is researching Leafmen. He is trying to prove that they exist. And Mary Kay is going off to live with her dad after her mom passed away. And Nod had something in common too. His father passed away, but he's being raised by Ronan. So the two teenagers have that in common. Keep that in mind because they will become important too later. So Queen Terror picks a pod by a slug and a slug and a snail called Grub and Mud. Now keep them in mind because they will become important too later. So they're even at the festival. Everyone's at the Queen's festival, right? And Mary Catherine tried to talk to her dad and tried to say, that there's no such thing as leaf people and about all of this, but he's too busy researching because there are things as leaf people in this movie, and he sees he gets beeps whenever something happens in the woods with the leaf peoples, and he even has security cameras, so he's ready to go. He is ready to catch one of the leaf people to prove that they exist. But as Mary Kay tries to talk to him about how she feels about his work hunting on the leaf people, he doesn't want to listen, so she plans to run away. She writes him a little note. And while she is walking out of the house with her suitcase, you will never guess what happens. The Boggins and the Leafmen, they have a fight. But Queen Tara's okay, because she's got the pot in hand and she's trying to get to Ronan, and Ronan catches her and he flies her on the bird, and Queen Tara says, "You were right," and Ronan says, "Remind me to grow up later." And Queen Tara knows how to fight because she's trying to fight left and right. And the flower child is trying to help the queen out by fighting one of the Boggins. And Queen Tara says, "You're taking my moves, kid." And then, while they're flying up in the sky, Ronan fights with another Boggin, and Queen Tara falls. And she gets hit by the son of Marprince, the leader of the Boggins. She gets hit by the son, but one of the Leafmen hits Marprius' son, and he dies, but so does the queen, and it's just so sad because I'm okay. Okay, so here's what happens. Here's how Mary Catherine meets meets Ronan in Nod. Okay. So she's running out into the woods to find the dog Ozzy that her dad has. And there's actually a big storm, and Mary Catherine actually catches the magical leaf pod, and then she doesn't notice that she's tiny yet. So she sees Queen Terror on the ground after she puts down the leaf pod, and she gives it back to Queen Terror, and then Queen Terror tells her to take the pod to Nimglua. And then Ronan finds her. Ronan finds her on the ground. Ronan finds her on the ground in Queen Tara's, and then Queen Tara looks at him, and then Queen Tara looks at him, and then Queen Tara looks at him with so much love, and she says, "You're so serious all the time. You should smile more." And then he actually does smile at Queen Tara, and then she says, "There's that smile." And then she vanishes up into the sky. So she's the spirit now. Queen Tara in the spirit. May she rest in peace. May she rest in peace. Long live Queen Tara, Queen of the Leaf People. Okay. Okay, I'm better now. So anyway. While when that's over, Ronan gives the soldiers instructions to go back and to make sure Marcreus never figures out their location, and he will never get his hand on that flower. Just make sure that the soldiers will lead them away from the trail which they are going, because they are going to see Nimgaloo. 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 So anyway, we find Nod in the frog race, and he actually loses, but it was a bet. But not to worry, he doesn't get hurt because Ronan comes to his rescue. So he bets the other toad that, hey, here's some money, let him go, he's okay, he's a leafman. And then Nod says, still don't need your help. And then he says, oh, yes, you do. So they go off to see Nimgaloo together. And Mary Catherine has no choice but to go with them because the queen has shrunk her. And she talks to Ronan, and Ronan tells her the only one that can help you get home again is Nimgaloo. So they go see Nimgaloo together. They see him to get more information about the pod. And then they find out that they have to take it to Moon Haven and watch it bloom in the sunlight of Moon Haven. So, they actually take a break in Nimgaloo's village. Oh, and by the way, Nimgaloo is my second favorite character in this movie. So they take a break in Nimgaloo's village, and while they're taking a break, Nod, the boy, and Mary Catherine, the girl that we met in the story, they become really close, and they kind of go on this sort of date thing where they sit together and they watch the sunset rise. But while they're doing that, Mud and Grub get kidnapped because they offer to protect the pod with Ronan and the other soldiers, but they get kidnapped with the pod, and Ronan comes back. And Ronan comes back because he went to scout out Moonhaven. So Ronan comes back from scouting starting out Moonhaven. And it turned out that no wait. It turned out that Marcreus has kidnapped Mug Mud and Grub to watch the pod so it can grow in darkness. And now they have to go to Marcreus, the bad guy's hideout, to get the pod in Mud and Grub back. And Ronan and Nod have an argument and and Ronan says, I gave you one job to watch the pod, but Mary Catherine says, well, it's not his fault, it's mine. Now the best thing that we can do is to get the pod back in to make sure that it grows in the sunlight so the next queen can be chosen. So they work together to get the pod back. But first they make a stop to Mary Catherine's father's house to get supplies. Now, it turns out that the Leafman knows that Mary Catherine's father has been searching for them for a very, very, very long time, and they lead him in the wrong direction on purpose. So it turned out that he was right, and they get the supplies, but Mary Catherine's father is sad because she left. But here's the big thing. Mary Catherine now understands what her father was trying to tell her all along. So, when they leave and actually she sees her dad sleeping, she gives him a kiss on the forehead, and then they're off. So they go to Marquise's hideout, and it actually goes pretty well at first, but then they get attacked and Ronan gets left behind, but Nod and Mary Catherine are okay. And then Ronan says, leave me, take care of the pod. And then Nod says, I'm not leaving without you. And then Ronan says, now you're thinking like a Leafman. But Ronan is still fighting off the Bog army. So while that is happening, all the soldiers are waiting for Ronan, and they wait for Nod, and one of the soldiers says, there you are, we've been waiting for you, where's Ronan? And then Nod says, well, he gave us a head start. So they take the pod, and they try to bloom it in the sunlight, but it doesn't work because the bat from the Nod place, even though they rescue Grub and Mud. The bats follow them there, and they are covering the sun, so it's not even bloomed in the sun right now. It's bloomed in darkness. So MK go get her dad, and she tells her dad, "You were right all along. They do exist." And they make up, and then MK says she's sorry, and the dad says he's sorry too. And then the dad helps rescue the day they because the dad played the bat sounds, and then it turns out that Marquise wanted revenge on them also because the loss of his son, but he gets defeated. Marquis gets defeated, and he gets sat and sucked in a tree, and that is where his remains stay, in the dark tree of the forest. And the pot is safe, and the flower blooms, and it turned out that the next queen is the flower child. And Queen Tara says, "Watch over them for me." And now that the flower blooms, Mary Kay can go home, and then the flower child sent her home, and then Nod says, "I don't want you to go." And then Mary Catherine says, "Hang on to me." And then they shared their first kiss. And also Mud the slug has a little crush on her. So that's a little so it's kind of cute how he goes, "Hey, what you got? What you got that I don't got?" So yeah, that's going on. So Mary Catherine and Nod share their first kiss, and Mud and Slug become leafmen like they wanted to be from this entire movie. So they become leafmen. And Queen Tara and Ronan, they share one last moment, and and um and um and 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 when she's crowning the flower child as as the new queen, she looks at Ronan and says, "There's that smile," and he smiles back. And Ronan and Nod say that they love each other, in a guys kind of way. Because you know how fathers and sons are with their kidding. You know how boys are. They can't say how they really feel, so they get around and say, "Hey kid, I love you." And the kid says, "Oh, I love you too." Okay, so anyway, they say that they love each other, and for a second there, not that Ronan passed away, that he got defeated, but no, he actually fought them off. And so MK and her dad go home, and it turned out that Nod and MK are are doing the long distance thing, and they go back into the woods because Grub the slug ate Nod because he was jealous of Nod talking to MK on the camera. So her and her father go into the woods. The father to ask him about the helmets, and MK to get Nod out of Mud's mouth. And that's how the movie ends. And bye. See you guys next time on January 5th. No, on 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 the 1st. Bye and Happy New Year. Oh, and again, I would like to give a big shout out to my sister-in-law, Kayla, for designing this very, 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 very cool shirt for me. And I will leave her information down below so you guys can also get a shirt. Bye, and see you guys next time in my next video. Bye.